Welcome back to GoldSeek TV. I'm here in Zurich with Florian Grummes, the Managing Director of Midas Touch Consulting. Thank you for joining us today.
Hi, Peter. Thanks for having me.
You gave a keynote presentation here today about gold, silver, the markets. Give us a little bit of overview what you were talking about at this conference.
Yes, of course. Well, I've been talking about a technical update on the gold market, on the gold price, of course. I included silver, I included Bitcoin, I included also the mining stocks. And the main takeaway is, and I've been actually writing about this 2 weeks ago already, that I think the war premium is coming out of the gold market right now. The Trump's victory, basically, the market, I think, perceives it as at least somebody now starts talking. You know, we've seen 2 years of warmongery. None of the both sides have been talking to each other. And maybe now there is a way to at least talk with each other and have some form of diplomacy going on. Yes, Trump is not a diplomat kind of guy, but I think that's what is happening right now. And we've seen that already in 2016, when Trump surprisingly won the election back then. The gold prices sold off for 7 weeks in a row. Pretty hard sell-off back then. No bounces, nothing in between, 7 weeks straight down like a stone, falling. But then mid of December was the turning point, and I expect actually something similar this time. Usually in the last 9 out of 10 years, we've seen gold finding a bottom and a turning point around the last FOMC meeting of the year, mid of December. So gold had a heck of a rally, big run up in comparison to 12 months ago, where I spoke here. It's up $900. So it's naturally for a breather. It's healthy, I think, a pullback. Could it go deeper than many expect? Yes, probably. We know how markets are working, always looking for enough pain among everybody. So generally, I thought at least 2,600. We've seen it already this morning. So the next support levels are around 2,575 and then 2,535. So that's still a reasonable little pullback. If it would be a larger one, well, we have this big cup and handle pattern, which gold had been working on for 13 years. Massive breakout a year ago. That's why so much energy got unleashed and gold rallied, nearly $900 in the last 12 months. Could it come back to that former resistance, which is now support around, let's say, 2,150, 2,175? Yeah, worst case, I think that could happen, but that would be an amazing buying opportunity.
Okay, so we had this big run in the last year, a little bit of air's coming out of this rally. But what happened in the last year, the mining stocks, they didn't really perform as well as one would expect with this big breakout. What is your views, and are we going to see in this next phase the gold stocks finally and the silver stocks come alive a lot?
Yeah, that's the big question. I mean, I think with everybody that you talk here at the conference, they all agree. Like, I mean, if I had told them, I did tell them that gold will break out. My price target was $2,500. But if we would have known that gold would trade at around $2,800 a year later, everybody would have agreed, yeah, the mining stocks have to go through the roof, right? And it didn't happen. Some of them have really done well, but you needed to be a good stock picker. So not on average in general. Yes, I mean, the GDM index, which is one of the bigger mining index that I follow because it gives you a big of a broader picture, is up about 100%, which is a nice move overall. But then again, if you look at single stocks, and especially the smaller ones, the explorers, the developers, they're all having a hard time still. So what needs to happen is more generalist money, more mainstream money needs to come into the sector. And I could assume that if gold at some point next year will tackle the $3,000, which is my next price target, $3,100, that maybe that will attract more money into the sector. And nowadays, it just takes one guy to sell one Bitcoin, you know, and they have quite a lot of money to invest in all these beaten down juniors. And the same is true for physical silver. So I'm optimistic. I think we're in a bull market. We're seeing a healthy pullback right now. Give it a bit of time, be patient, look for oversold setups in the next few weeks. And then, next year, I guess many of those mining companies will come back to life.
So do you see this gold bull market being something that lasts for many years to come. Like this breakout is leading to a much larger secular bull run.
That is, in the big picture, my expectation. Of course, I have no crystal ball, but I think out of this big 13-year-old cup and handle pattern, you will see 3,000, 3,100 gold is probably very likely. And at the same time, $50 silver is also very likely. There is one point I have to make, that the team that Trump has put together, I think, is quite a strong team in comparison to the first term that he served as a president, which was quite chaotic. So if there would be any team on this planet that could solve some of these big, huge problems, it might be this one. So it could lead to some less demand of safe haven assets like gold. While at the same time, I assume that they will do so many infrastructure programs that it would probably increase the industrial demand for silver. So that's why I'm actually much more optimistic for silver now. I think it's still lagging, and there's a very good chance that we're going to see $50.
So silver is quite unique in its industrial and monetary attributes. One of the big aspects of the silver market has been this supply deficit, which has been, what, 4 years now?
Right.
So sure. Silver price in relation to the gold price looks cheap, but fundamentally, there's fantastic industrial component demand for it. So like you're mentioning now, one of the maybe big drivers here is, you also have China talking about new stimulus, but also in the US.
Right.
So that's not going to resolve itself right now. So easily, right? The supply deficit doesn't look like that's going away.
No, not at all. The problem is always that these fundamental drivers don't play any role in the short term, right? And it can take sometimes years until they manifest themselves. But I'm pretty sure that not only in silver, but in some of the commodities, we're going to see shortages down the road over the next 1, 2, 3 years. I mean, China is in a bit of a challenging situation. We don't really know what is the outcome, but if the US under Trump really starts pushing forward, that could change the picture. And then the US might quickly realize, like, wow, most of the mining projects internationally are now in the control of the Chinese. Yeah. And then you have the Indians. India is also catching up. It's a huge population, very young, very tech savvy. They want to have the latest gears too now. They need to basically also have a car and a fridge and everything. You have a lot of potential in India. So I think there's a lot of drivers that we see something even bigger than China, which was the dominating theme for the last commodity bull market in the 2000s, right? So I think it looks pretty promising for silver. And I mean, there's new technologies around the corner. I think there's coming lots of inventions that use actually more silver than ever before. So yeah, I think there's every reason to be bullish on silver. It's been lagging. And most importantly, as a old school gold and silver bug, you know how markets behave, and we haven't seen silver really showing up to the party yet, right? So typically you get these blow-off tops in the precious metals once silver is also really joining or actually leading the party, and we haven't seen that.
So it does indicate that this is still kind of early stages of this bigger cycle.
Yeah.
And you had just kind of mentioned about the gold silver stocks, specifically now maybe about the silver stocks now. If you looking at $50 silver, these silver stocks, and there's not that many out there to select from, they should do extremely well. So this must be an excellent pullback opportunity.
Exactly. So that's my thinking right now. Maybe over the next few weeks, as I said, until maybe mid-December, last FOMC meeting of the year, you might see a bit of a larger pullback, especially in the gold prices. And of course, the mining stocks will also suffer a little bit. But I think that's a great buying opportunity now in the next few weeks. I mean, until Christmas, it's already just 5-6 weeks. So if they come back down a little bit further, maybe then yes, because once this turns around and silver really starts running towards $50, it usually happens so quickly that you have no chance to get on the train, because psychologically speaking, you see these stocks moving higher very quickly and you always wait for the pullback, which then will never happen. So you need to be positioned before actually the run up to 50 really starts. And that's why I believe silver stocks are a great opportunity over the next few weeks to be accumulated as.
So either in it, or you're just going to watch it go, and hopefully you're not just watching it and then get so greedy, making a big move and get into that last point, which unfortunately happens a lot of times.
Right.
It's better to be buying when people are disinterested and so on. But what seems to be unique in this instance is that we've already had a big breakout in the gold price. Silver price is starting to really revive. I mean, it was in the low 20s a year ago or in the low 30s. So we already got kind of like the breakout move happening, but the stocks just haven't had that big moves yet. So it seems a bit, from a risk reward perspective, some of the risk has already been taken out.
True. I mean, silver has broken above this $30 resistance, but then again, didn't really create massive momentum. It rallied to, I think, 34.86 or something. Yeah, now it's pulling back, probably at today or tomorrow, testing the $30. If it's support, former resistance, now support, yeah, maybe if it can help, then we might be quickly already on the way back to 35 and then higher. Worst case for me is 27 to 28 for silver in the short term. And again, I think accumulating silver stocks in the next few weeks is a good idea.
Well, thank you for the insights. If you could just tell us a little bit more, Florian, about Midas Touch Consulting. What is it that you do? What kind of services do you provide?
Sure. We are independent investors, traders, speculators. We are consultants and mentors. We have weekly, daily, and monthly research on gold, silver, and also on Bitcoin and digital assets. I advise quite a few private clients as well as institutional clients. And yeah, we do everything to look at the markets from a rational point of view. So I do a lot of technical analysis as well. And I'm rather open-minded and look for lucrative opportunities always that I can use for myself, but also for the followers and readers that I have.
Fantastic. Well, thank you for your time, Florian. Look forward to following up with you in the coming months and see how this pullback develops and what opportunities are presented.
Would be a pleasure. Thank you for having me, Peter.
Thank you.